guys, what's going on? It's Gunnar here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk a little bit about some spring chores that we can be doing here for the upcoming season. Now, it might sound early, you know, it's the end of March, but the summer months go fast. And once turkey hunting starts rolling around, we get busy chasing those toms around. There's not a lot of time left over for doing some of the monotonous stand work or the lane clearing or the trail cleanup that, you know, we don't always want to do. It's more of that boring work, but it's stuff that needs to get done. And at the end of the day, the stuff that I can get done here, the sooner, the better it is. You know, if I can avoid having to go into the timber and into the woods when everything is greening up, it's 95 degrees out, the sun's baking, there's bugs all over the place, there's ticks out, the briars are scratching you. Like I said, it's just not a fun time to be in the woods when it's real hot and nasty in those peak summer months. But I want to go over some of the things that me and my brother and my dad were taking on, you know, this weekend. You know, it's a Friday here today. You guys are going to be seeing this tomorrow, but some of the things that we're tackling here tomorrow is I've got a blind set up right here. I've got a blind platform that we actually dug into place last year. Now this is a steep side hill. It's a good bedding area hillside. I actually killed that big old 9-point of mine during gun season here last year. Now it was kind of a trial setup. You know, we didn't necessarily know it was going to be a good spot based on previous knowledge. Now we had some intel that, you know, this could be a good spot, but we just didn't know if this was the correct spot. Guys, it's Gunnar. Look, a lot of you guys have been talking to me, telling me how you need help. Well, I want to talk to you today about Whitetail coaching. One-on-one virtual coaching with me. We'll go in depth on whatever problems, whatever help you need. We'll find the solution you're looking for. Shoot me a text, 608-632-7233. 608-632-7233. I got your back for life. Now let's get back to the video. So we took a little time, we trialed it for a season. It ended up producing a 5 or a 6-year-old buck. So at the end of the day, that was all the reassurance we needed to, now we're gonna come in here and we're gonna actually build a permanent in that spot. We're gonna build a permanent box blind on that platform. It was just a pop-up blind last year, but when you get those heavy snowfalls, those tops like to collapse. If you don't have that middle stake, it'll collapse right on you. The sides will pop in. It just wasn't working out. So we like to stay warm at the same time. So we're gonna come in here with some plywood. We're gonna frame it up with 2x4s, whatnot. Keep it relatively light because at the end of the day, we're down here on this hillside and it's kind of a one-way ticket to not coming out of here. So we're gonna try to make it light. That way, if it does eventually have to move, we can somehow skid it out of here or whatnot. But so on the other hand, another thing we're gonna be doing, any of the stands that we're going by or nearby, we're gonna go ahead and just climb up and loosen those straps because at the end of the day, the last thing that we want is for us to climb up on a cool, crisp morning in a stand we haven't seen since maybe a fall ago and the straps busted because the tree grew too much during the summertime. We didn't do our yearly maintenance on it. We didn't loosen those straps, give them time to breeze with that tree moving, and it went ahead and snapped, and now we got a dangerous setup. You're up in a tree 15, 16 plus feet with no strap on you. So that's the worst case scenario. And every single year we're going in there, we're loosening those straps so we don't have that situation occur. Now, another thing that you can be doing, you should be doing, and we're doing is you need to be making sure your roads, your logging roads, your access trails are clear. Now, there's a lot of things that can happen over the winter. You get dead trees, dead fall that come over your logging roads, your trails. Another thing you don't want to happen is when you go in there to hunt, next fall, it's dark out, it's cold as crisp, it's the middle of the rut. You go in there and you might trip on a down log that you didn't know was there. That's the last thing I want to happen, making unnecessary noise, causing more of a disturbance causing more disturbance than what needs to be done when I go into a hunt to spot. Because when I go into a hunt, last thing I want to do is make any form of obtrusive noise or take longer than necessary to get to a spot because I'm weaving in and around deadfall that are over my trail. So I like to do a lot of this stuff in the springtime here when it's actually still relatively cool. It's prior to turkey season. We don't have any snow. It's not super greasy out here in the woods. You can get a lot of this stuff done without the misery of that summertime heat, the bugs nagging at you. It's outside of turkey season. We're not focused on that yet. And at the same time, you can be scouting for turkeys while you're doing all of this. So make sure you set aside a weekend to go ahead and check your stands. Make sure they're safe and secure and ready for the next season at the end of the day. And make sure your access trails are ready to rock. If there's a blind that you need to get set up or maybe even taken down from last spring, go ahead and do that. Get this stuff done so we don't have to deal with all this monotonous chore aspect of things when it comes to deer hunting during the summertime months, because at the end of the day, none of us want to deal with bugs or ticks or poison oak, poison ivy, any of this stuff, briars cutting you up. That's just not a fun situation. So any of this stuff that I can alleviate and get done here in the springtime to prep me, get me ahead of the game for fall, I'm gonna do, because when it gets down to it, when July, August rolls around, I'm focused on my food plot attraction and drawing those deer in. The last thing I want to do is have to go into those bedding areas when some of those deer are starting to shift back onto those fall properties, into those fall ranges. Last thing I want to do is have to go into pretty secluded tree stand location and make sure everything's tight. I don't want to be clearing lanes in late August or early September when a lot of those deer are starting to shift into their fall patterns. So if I can go ahead and if I can get my tree stands good and secure, ready to rock, make sure those straps are loosened, make sure I got good lanes here for the fall. Maybe I have to come in here, you know, early August and trim up a couple lanes, but if I can avoid having to do massive amounts of work when it's beastly hot and it's just uncomfortable, I'm going to do that. So that's just a couple things that I want to get you guys' mind turning on. Maybe you could get ahead of the game here. You know, that's the last thing I want to do, is get behind the 8-ball. Things just don't seem to work out when I'm working from behind when it comes to deer hunting. So anything you can do to stay ahead of the game, get your stuff done early, have that peace of mind that everything's ready to rock when you go in there for the first sit of the fall. I can guarantee you, if you take care of all this stuff, you get ahead of the game, you're gonna have a lot more peace of mind. You're gonna be a lot more successful when you go into hunt next fall.